Hey guys, this is probably going to be my last video of 2016. This is a common sight, right? It is a big dendrobium in a tiny little pot, tiny little container. And this isn't what I wanted. I wanted a big dendrobium in a big pot. And not just any big pot, I wanted a pot full of holes so the root zone would get maximum air ventilation. So I drew a picture of what I wanted. Big pot, full of holes. Now this is hard to get. Most pots you see are like this. And the reason they don't have holes everywhere is, they're big, they're holding a lot of medium, then you water it, it gets heavy, and then if you have holes everywhere, you're going to lose that structural integrity. So you're big, you're holding all this heavy stuff, and then you're full of holes, and then those two requirements are not a good combination. So that's why you don't see a lot of big pots full of holes. Some people try to get around these contradictory requirements with special design. So here's a pot I really like. Look at this. It's an air pot. So it's a big pot and it's full of holes. And the reason it can resolve these contradictory requirements is because the walls are so strangely designed. Strange, protruding, kind of egg carton design of the walls allows big pot full of holes. But having a bunch of these at eye level isn't the most peaceful thing with all these spiky protrusions. And then these are kind of expensive too. So I decided, hey, I need to figure out my own way to make a big container full of holes. Here are the tools you'll need to make giant orchid baskets of whatever shape and size you want. And then most importantly, you need a plan. So here is what my plan is. I want to make a pot that's at least a gallon in size. In the US, milk or a lot of beverages come in a gallon in size. This is a pretty big container. So I want something as big, or if not somewhat bigger than this. And so 1 gallon is 231 cubic inches. The shape I want, just to make things easy for me, is like a rectangular shoebox type shape. And dendrobiums, I found they like to dry very quickly. So I want one dimension to be pretty thin so that if I made it like a big sphere, then the inside, the center of the sphere would probably take a long time to dry. But if I have one dimension very thin, then like all of the air from here and all of the air from here will allow it to dry quite quickly. So that's why I have a 4-inch side, and then I've decided to have a 7-inch bottom length, and then a height of 9 inches. And then I'd like a 1-inch collar here just for reinforcement. So a total height of 9 inches, length of 7 inches, and then a width of 4 inches. That would give me 252 cubic inches in volume, which is well over a gallon. And so this is what I would like. To get this, I need to know how big of a piece of hardware cloth I need, because that comes in because the hardware cloth I showed earlier comes in a big roll. So I need to cut out something like this. I need to cut out a 24-inch piece, so one piece that's 2 feet by 11 inches. So 11 inches by 24 inches. And then with this piece, so here's my 4-inch bottom. Here is going to be my 9-inch sides, and then 1 inch left over to just fold over for reinforcement. And then a 7-inch bottom, and then 2-inch flaps that I can fold in. So it's going to look like this. I'll take this big sheet, it's almost like origami. I'll take this big sheet and then I'll just make the folds to get it into the box. So remember, if you were a kid, you had origami and you could fold the paper to make boxes. So that's kind of the idea. I'll have my sheet, I'll fold it into a U, then I'll move in flaps to make one of the walls, and then I'll fold it over to make the reinforced top. And then to attach everything, I'll use cable ties. This is my plan, and then you'll see me carrying out this plan. I've unfurled my hardware cloth, and now I need to cut out a piece that is 24 by 11 inches. And the good thing is, like, you always want to save yourself work. So the roll already has one side that is 2 feet or 24 inches. So I only need to cut out another 11 inches. So I can take this and save it for another container. So this is what I wanted, 24 by 11. Now I'm going to, kind of like origami, start making the container I want. So here we go. Here's the beginning of my container. Now I need to create these walls here. So I'll need to cut down here 2 inches. And see, now I have this. So I can fold this in to make the missing wall. Ta-da! Now I've completed this missing wall, and I have to do the same for the other side. So I'm going to cut 2 inches here, remove that flap, and then fold these parts in to make that missing wall. And here we go. This is a 252 cubic inch container that I can put orchids in. And it's great because there's aeration, there are just holes everywhere. And then because it's thin on one side, it will dry very quickly. All that's left to do is, well, it's actually bigger than 252 right now. I still need to fold 1 inch on the top just for extra reinforcement. You don't really have to do this, but I just do it to be safe. Now, to attach everything, I am going to use zip ties, cable ties. So, it's just wherever you want to put it. So, up top here, put one here. And then you can just cut off the ends here. So it's really up to you. Now, what I usually do is I cut like a shape in the bottom, and then I can put the orchid in. So let me show you that. Look at the bottom now. So the orchid, there's a lot of places for the roots to attach to the medium. What I usually do is I cut this middle part, I make the hole even bigger so I can fit the orchid into it. So it depends, I might stuff the orchid in this way, or I might stuff the orchid in that way. So for example, I would, let's say this is a little orchid. I would stick it in here like that, and it would hang out the bottom. And the root ball would usually catch on the sides so it doesn't fall out. And then if the root ball doesn't catch on the sides, I can also use twine to temporarily have it attach to this container until the roots, fill the container, and then it won't fall out at all. For the last step, I attach the hanging chain. Okay, I wanted to show you the final product. This is a home gym that is over 6 feet in height, and behind it is a very large window. So that is moschatum on top, and then that is secundum on the bottom. So the plants, each plant with the container is a good 3 feet in height. So I mean, together they're about 6 feet in height. So this is what I was talking about, where I removed a lot of the mesh at the bottom, so if there are new pseudobulbs, they can very easily, move laterally. I put a thin layer of sphagnum at the bottom. The thin layer of sphagnum helps keep the plant hydrated when you just transplant it. It also keeps the bark from falling through the bottom mesh. Thank you for watching.